And we're back talking about cool things that entrepreneurs are making with carbon dioxide. Grant, I got to say that when I was on your website, this was, I think, a couple of years ago, and first learning about your company and what you were doing, one of the things that really stood out to me that I thought was fascinating was that you were able to create the material that's used to make blue food coloring for things like M&Ms. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. So the antioxidant, it's a natural blue color. It's the only FDA approved blue color globally, and it's called phycocyanin. It's a component of spirulina. You'll often hear spirulina called blue-green algae. And when you look at spirulina, and this again is an algae that grows in freshwater, it is very common. We can extract a higher content of this phycocyanin, which is it's a very expensive ingredient to grow. And typically it's grown in outdoor ponds, but with our LED technology, we can grow spirulina to have a higher content of this natural blue color. And this really provides an ROI in terms of a return on growing spirulina because you have a very valuable offtake in this natural blue color. And it's used to color M&Ms, Smarties, maybe blue Gatorade, just some common products that currently use artificial blue. So there's a large growing market for algae in the color world. And, who knew that? Yeah.
It's fascinating. Now, just on that note, how on earth did your company start? Like, what's the story behind this idea of using this
Sure.
CO2 in the
Yeah.
manner that you guys are doing, like, say, feeding algae?
Definitely. Well, our founder was Steve Martin. He's still involved with the company. He's back more on the research and the innovation side. But he discovered that an article he read about LED lights growing algae from CO2. So it was really sort of a research paper. And we've turned that into, a full-scale company where we actually have a large testing and evaluation demonstration facility hooked up to a cement factory in St. Mary's, Ontario, where we've grown several species of algae. We've obtained 35 patents growing off of CO2 that was going up a stack from a cement factory. So we've grown that blue-green algae there, and we've also grown it obviously in our laboratory.
Well, it's very cool what you guys are up to there. Ryan, what about your company? What's the story behind Aether Diamonds? How did you decide that you're gonna make something as cool as diamonds out of captured CO2?
So tomorrow is actually our 5 year anniversary. So I've been thinking a lot about this as of late and just kind of the early forming story to how we've gotten to where we are today. And really, it boils down to reading a book. My now wife gifted me with the book Drawdown by Project Drawdown, which chronicles all of these natural and engineered solutions to atmospheric CO2. And at the end of the book, they tease out technologies that are coming soon. And that was where I was first exposed to the concept of direct air capture. At the time, I was exploring startup business ideas with a former colleague. He and I met working in the jewelry industry over a decade ago. And so that night when we were having our weekly call, I said, by the way, I heard about this technology that can enable companies to pull CO2 directly out of the air, not from a flue stack, but from ambient air. Can you imagine if we could turn that into a diamond? Diamonds from thin air, wouldn't that be something? And as soon as the words escaped my mouth, I
Mm-hmm.
knew I was hooked on the idea and immediately put pen to pad and started working on a process that might work. Now, I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm not a chemical engineer or a process engineer. So I had to make some phone calls and talk to some folks in my network to see if there was something there. But I saw a pretty clear path. And here we are 5 years later, and we've done just that. So it's been quite exciting along the way. And we started producing things that were by definition diamonds, but not beautiful, not clear in color, and very different from what
Mm-hmm.
we're producing today.
And so, what about when you look at the product that you have today versus, say, a traditionally mined diamond? Is there anything that is visible to the naked eye, or is it something that maybe only a jeweler might notice once they're, under the microscope kind of thing?
There's no discernible difference. In fact, even the world's most talented gemologists cannot tell the difference, even with magnification. We have to talk about serious levels of magnification or advanced laboratory equipment in order to make that determination. But from the naked eye, or even with a traditional jeweler's loupe, there's no way to tell the difference because what we're producing is not similar to a diamond. It is, in fact, a diamond, pure crystalline carbon with the same crystal matrix, the same ordering, and everything that goes into that stone is exactly as how nature does it under the ground.
Hmm. And I'm guessing how does the diamond industry reacted?
It's been a really interesting time. When we launched the company, it was, lab grown diamonds were 1.5% of the market. By this year, it's expected they'll surpass the 50% threshold here in the US. So people are adopting it, whether they did it early on or they're doing it now, it's happening.
Well, that's great. We'll learn more in just a moment.